Yeah, obviously appreciate the guys' fight, appreciate the guys' effort. Coach well enough, execute well enough to beat a good team. Hats off to South Isle. They played really good today, made a lot of plays, made the plays when they needed to. We just came up, probably two drives short. So we got to go back, got to regroup, and figure out how we can play a full game of football.
Does it concern you 2 straight losses going into a situation where you now need to win to make the conference title game?
No, because if we'd have won by 100 today, we would still need to win. So today's an opportunity to learn. I'm still as fired up about the opportunity that these guys have in front of them. I think we showed a lot of who we are in the second half. But you can't play a half of football and expect to beat good teams. We got to do a better job, putting the guys in better position. We got to do a better job executing, and in order to have success, for 60 minutes.
Of course, in the second half, you had to go one-dimensional, pass the ball a lot. But what was kind of the issue with the run game in that first half?
Yeah, they moved a lot, which we knew they would. We didn't do a good job of picking it up and kind of creasing them where we had opportunities, which put us behind the sticks, which makes their third down package a little bit more predictable. We got to figure out a way to run the ball. We're bleeding a little bit on offense right now. We've kind of been spinning our wheels in the mud with this run game. We've got to go back to the drawing board and look at some things to help create and solidify some of these edges, with the movement and the things. But when you can't run it, you put yourself in third and long, and you're going to have a long day. And that's what started to happen, in the first half.
Coach, what did you think of Braylon's performance today?
I thought he was gutsy. There were a couple opportunities, on a couple of throws that were, right there. The one that, Carl jumps up and hits him right in the face, and, there are guys there to tip it. That's what happens. When you're not playing good football, the ball does not bounce your way. And that's what happened. You can look back. We were playing good football earlier in the year, and the ball bounced our way a lot. So I thought he played good. Thought it was gutsy. Gave us a chance to win. I thought, right down to the end. We felt good about, if we got the onside kick back, we felt good about, being able to drive the ball at 50 seconds. Just didn't happen. So we got to learn from it. Look back on the things that we could do better in the first half on all 3 phases, and correct those things and combine it with what we were able to do in the second half.
This is the second straight week where your defense has given up more than 250 yards on the ground. How do you evaluate their performance over the last 2 games?
A little bit of it is, based on the type of offenses that we've been playing, they're going to have a little bit more success running the ball. The missed tackles show up, so those yards become a little bit leaky. You got it blocked up on the edge for a 4 or 5 yard gain, and we don't get off a block or we don't tackle, and it turns into a 12-yard gain. And then obviously it's a copycat league. I mean, it's the game is copycat, right? So whatever the things are that showed up last week, teams are going to try to use those same mechanics. We got to continue to improve, continue to put our guys in better position from a coaching perspective. I think today when you look at it, we didn't play well in the first half, defensively, but I think you're going to look at it and there's going to be a lot of missed tackles. There's going to be a lot of falling forward for 3 or 4. There's going to be a lot of guys that were out of their gap. We missed Mike Montgomery today. That him being out today hurt us, having to rotate some guys in. But we got to get it cleaned up. No one's going to feel sorry for us. I promise you, whoever we play next week's going to try to do the same thing. So we got to get it fixed.
Is Braylon still kind of limited mobility-wise right now?
No, he was fine. Obviously, once you're out there on the turf, even at 42 years old, my back starts to hurt. So got a little sore on him, but he didn't want to come out, and he said, I'm good. But I thought for, 58 minutes, he was fine, what we were asking him to do. We've got to get some issues fixed up front, in order to keep him upright, and in order to run the ball a little bit, in order to stay ahead of the chains a little bit. You start getting into 3rd and 8, 9s, it's going to be a long day. They were able to get to some 3rd and medium, some 3rd and shorts, even some 4th and shorts, which keeps the game a little bit more. Are they going to pass or are they going to run it? When you're in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, you're going to be 80, 90% pass. Everyone knows that. So you can kind of play a different technique. The DNs can rush with a little bit more understanding of getting to the quarterback. Coverage-wise, there's a little bit more you can do on the back end because you're going to get passes. So we've got to be able to play a little bit better on 1st and 2nd down to try to help us out.
You now have an opportunity at home to win the Sun Belt West against Troy on Saturday. What are your thoughts on that opportunity?
Wouldn't want it any other way. Whether we won by 200 today or lost by 6,000, same exact plan going back into next week. Thanksgiving week, a lot to be thankful for. Remember, this team was 1-11. Right, we're sitting here 7-4, 7-3, whatever we are. I don't think anybody in the universe had us there, and I'm not satisfied with that. But we can't forget that these guys have done a lot of work, and we got to get it back. We got to get it fixed. Don't get me wrong. We, the coaches, myself, it falls on me. We got to get it fixed. But if you'd have told me in December when I got hired that we'd be headed back to the Rock to play for the championship, no one here would have said, well, what's your record going to be? Every one of us would have said, absolutely. And that's where we are. So we got to get it fixed. Don't get me wrong. It wouldn't have mattered if we lost these 2 games at the beginning or the end. Does it cloud the picture a little bit? We lost 2 in a row. Yeah, we've got some issues showing up that we got to get cleaned up. Absolutely. Has that changed anything as far as what next week means? Nope.
On the defense, lived and died by the turnovers. You said that last week.
Yeah, we're bleeding a
Second
little
week.
bit. Yeah, second week in a row, no turnovers. We're bleeding a little bit.
Is that hard? Is that kind of discouraging to them a little bit to see?
Well, they're
teams-
frustrated because that's what we've kind of lived by. I don't know if the one that we did get out, I don't know if the one, if he was stopped or not, but we got one out. Obviously, we weren't able to, review it or whatever it's called there. But we've kind of lived by it. It hadn't shown up, and then we're doing it on offense. So we've got to find that balance. We've got to be better taking care of the ball offensively. We've got to do a better job getting it out on defense. I think a little bit of, the slowdown is we're playing teams that are more run heavy. Earlier in the year, we were playing pass heavy teams, and they were a little bit more, we've got more interceptions than we do fumbles, right? So if you're run heavy, you can control the ball a little bit, take care of it. I think we've got to continue to work trying to get it out. But that's the key: explosive plays and turnovers.
You mentioned a few questions ago that you guys weren't playing good football, and it's funny that you mentioned because I thought your guys looked frustrated on the sideline. Does that concern you, I guess, going into a week like this,
No,
like where
it
their
should,
mindset's
it
at?
should motivate them. They're frustrated because they know they're better. They're frustrated because they know the reason that they didn't play good is because it was us. It wasn't they ran some play we didn't know was coming. We didn't get off a block and get the guy on the ground. What we work on all the time. We didn't block the guy in the run game to do our job. Yeah, everyone will be frustrated. You work as hard as these guys do, and you don't have success, and you know it's you or us. When I say you, meaning I can do better. It's frustrating. Absolutely, it should motivate them. And I told them it should motivate you to be better next week. It should motivate us coaches to be better next week. If they weren't frustrated, I'd be concerned. If they were just kind of laughing and joking and smiling, I'd be concerned. But frustration is good if you channel it the right direction. We got to channel it the right direction. There's going to be a lot on this film we're going to love, second half on. There's going to be a lot on this film we're going to say, man, we're one block away. Man, we're one tackle away. Man, we're one this away. So we got to get better. We got to do a better job, obviously, coaching, put them in better positions to kind of eliminate some of the, issues, get more population to the ball. So, missing a tackle is not as critical. We got to fix the run game offensively to kind of minimize. The other thing is you look at it defensively, we're on the field a long time in the first half. And it adds up. And that's been the second week in a row. We've been out there a while. And it adds up. We were probably out there a while earlier in the season. But because we were able to move the ball on offense, it takes a little bit of the pressure off because now you're up 10, 14 points, so it changes. But the rep count is piling up, so we got to do a better job on offense of taking care of the ball or scoring. And we can't go 4 and out, 3 and out, 5 and out, 3 and out, 5 and out, and expect our defense to sustain. Now, defensively, if they send you out there 300 times, you got to stop them. Everybody's got a role. But we got to play a little bit better complementary football in order to be able to finish where we want to finish.
In terms of the turnover, I'm just curious, is there something you look towards? Maybe it's gaining pressure, punching the ball out in terms of forcing those turnovers that you haven't seen over the last 2 weeks?
No, we've punched at it. Now, they have to let it go as well. I mean, it's not like you just hit a red button and the thing pops out. But when we watch the film, our guys are punching at it. Our guys are ripping at it. I think we got one out today. There's been a couple that have been bobbled. I mean, you don't see that on film, but you get a chance when you go back, you look at it, there's been a couple that have been bobbled. Fumbling is not something that you just draw up. Even interception, you have to actually catch the ball. So we're doing the techniques and the fundamentals that we need to be doing. Now, credit to the guy carrying the ball. I don't think you should ever fumble the ball, in my opinion, just as a running back coach, in general. Should ever fumble it, you should put it away. Now, there's going to be times where it gets a little loose and we got to keep punching at it. But they come in droves. They come in droves, man. 2 weeks ago we had 6. Nobody said anything about us punching the ball or getting the tips or anything like that. We got 6. 2 weeks in a row we haven't got any, right? So we've got to figure out a way to keep punching at it. figure out a way to keep taking care of it. It's the magnification of it is when you don't take care of it on the other side. If you turn it over on the other side now, and that getting none really puts a bright light on we need a turnover. So great opportunity to learn from. I couldn't be more excited going into this next week based on what we saw in the second half, based on the team that just came in that locker room. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a really good game.
Do you have a mess? Go ahead.
What's it just gonna take to win that game? you
Yeah,
think?
turnovers and explosive plays. It's the key to football since Dick LeBeau. I mean, go all the way back to Dick Buckus. The team that turns it over the most and gets the most explosive plays is going to win. We've got to be able. We've been on the other side of it for 2 weeks, but for 7 weeks we were on the other side. So we've got to get back to doing those things and put ourselves in a really good position to get the turnovers we need to, take care of the ball on offense, do a really good job of figuring out the best way to be better on first down on offense, and then continue to get off the field on third down on defense.
Do you have a message to the fans regarding Saturday?
Yeah, see you Saturday. It's Championship Saturday. I have no doubt why you wouldn't be there. What are you waiting for? I expect them all to be there. And matter of fact, I know they'll be there because they've been there all year. They've done a great job. We got championship football in Hattiesburg. Wow. It's been a few years since we've been able to say that. And trust me, we stink right now. Trust me. Nobody feels any worse than Coach Huff. But we've got championship football in Hattiesburg in November. Not the sky is not falling. Yeah, trust me, we are not playing really well, and we'll get it fixed. But we got championship football in Hattiesburg, and these kids will be fired up come Saturday afternoon.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
Braylon just didn't play last week, back on the field this week. How did you feel today?
I feel good. Obviously, I was a little limited mobility-wise, but I was able to push off the other ball well, but do enough to get the win. So.
What was kind of the defense doing in that first half that was stalling the offense?
Honestly, they weren't really doing anything special. They were running their normal base stuff that they've been running against everybody else. It's just we weren't executing. Whether it was I was a little off on the accuracy. We turned a guy loose here. We probably missed something there. It was kind of like just one person every single play that was kind of messing up, and it was really derailing ourselves. It was really nothing they were doing. But kudos to them. Obviously they had a good plan, probably had a good week of practice, good week of prep, and they came out there and they played a good game. They played good enough to win. So.
Does it concern you at all with the state of the team? 2 losses here going into next week?
Nah, not at all, honestly. Shoot, you hate to say you need to lose, but honestly, it's probably good for us. I hate losing, but hopefully we can learn from this. Everything we want still ahead of us. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week, obviously, get another home game against another quality opponent. It's pretty much for the stakes of the West, so we got to go do what we do.
The frustrations that you guys have had correlated with the opportunity still at hand. Do you think that the frustrations are a good thing for you guys going into next week?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to make us more urgent. Coach Huff told us at the end, we could have won this game by 100, lost this game by 100. We still was going to have to show up next week and win anyway. So, I feel like I hate to lose, obviously. Nobody likes losing. I hate losing. I'm not a loser. But, it's not the end of the world.
What do you think changed for you guys on offense once you went down 35-7 and were able to rattle off some scores?
We just started executing. Guys started latching on up front. The windows were opening up. We were able to hit them. We were being aggressive. We were going at them. We weren't letting them dictate what we were doing. We were kind of taking it to them. So that's really it.
Is that aggressiveness something you want to take into next week?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to be as aggressive as we can, whether that's running the ball aggressively, throwing the ball aggressively, just playing with passion and, execution that can be maxed, surgical execution, and we didn't do that in the first 30 minutes of the game. Can't play 30 minutes of football and expect to win in college football. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Everybody's got good players. Everybody's got good schemes. If you don't show up, you can't expect to win, and we didn't show up in the first half. So.
Kind of felt like that interception coming out of halftime kind of really derailed guys.
Yeah, that was my fault. I threw it too high, bounced up, got picked it. That's on me.
You've been in these must-win scenarios before. How do you approach them, especially given your health status right now?
Shoot, honestly, I'm not really worried about my health. Back up against the wall. Man, if they back up against the wall, nothing to lose, that's a dangerous guy. So I feel like we dangerous right now because, shoot, we done seen it all at this point. The highs, the lows. We done got blown out. We done got it took to us, almost came back. We done blown teams out. Just got to decide who we're going to be, honestly.
There was a point towards the end where Liddy came on the field and you kind of showed him off and then went down and scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was fair to him to have to come in without no warm up, no nothing, especially in the situation where we know we're throwing the ball and obviously can't run or limited running, but I was warmed up and my arms are good enough to throw, so I was like, nah, I'm good. So just throw the ball.
Anything else?
Good. Appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you.
Good. All right. I want to start us off.
What was kind of working in the first half for them against y'all?
Just finding a way to keep running the ball up the middle and just finding a way to run the ball for real. That's it.
Were they kind of implementing a lot of the things that Texas State was doing, short passes kind of on the boundary?
Kind of. Just, like I said, they found a way to run the ball and execute it how they execute it.
Coach Huff said a couple weeks ago that he doesn't know why teams continue to throw the ball, but now teams have started to run the ball against you guys. Do you have some concern with the way that the run defense has been so far the last 2 weeks?
Having success in the back end is teams going to try to adjust and game plan for us. So just we got to go back and prepare and be ready to stop the run next week.
What's just maybe the mentality you've sensed in the locker room right now after 2 losses, but also knowing that you're still in Sun Belt West?
It's a brotherhood, so we're not turning against each other. We all picking each other up and just ready to come back to work next week.
What are your thoughts on the opportunity presented to you guys next week at home? If you win the Sun Belt West. What are you thinking?
Go win, prepare, and do what we got to do.
How do you guys go get that job done, though, given where the momentum is at of the team?
Just go back to what we was doing at the beginning of the season, throughout the whole season, just execute offense, defense, special teams, and be ready to do what we got to do.
Turnovers have been lacking the last 2 weeks. Just curious, your thoughts on why do you think they haven't shown up over the last 2 games like they did earlier in the season?
Like I said, more teams going to try to run against us because we got a good secondary and we got a good front too. It's just we got to get them third down and get the ball in the air.
Curious what Coach Huff told y'all at halftime, and 21-7. They kind of extended it out there, but y'all were able to come back a little bit. Just curious what the message was at halftime then at the end of the game.
Showing our identity. We've been through so much together throughout this summer, and we just know we had to pick each other up, got each other backs, and we got to go make plays.
Anything else?
No.
Corey, thank you, man.